promoted, don't retweet it. All of their site properties, are listed in the blog, so you can see them as well, listed. So if you're curious, okay, is this something that I should be following or not? You can see all of their different properties. I think I might have listed 12 or 14. There are a lot, and they all have basically very, very similar names. But anyone with due diligence who's going to look and go to letsdiscoverme.com is going to notice, broken things, like their Twitter icon at the top is broken, and it's sending you to something that has nothing to do with any of these promos. So again, go ahead, if you see that Let's Discover Me concept, unfollow. I feel that we can do better as a community, and than this. So, sadly, straight up, I'm going to say this, that, men control the means of promotion on both Reddit and Twitter. And, many times, these are people who are just possibly way into too much into 18 plus material, or, foreign companies intent on stealing money, from creators. So, if we can work to expose, bad actors, we can change, hopefully, the character of the people who are attracted to doing this. So, if you have mods on Reddit who, have their power, and they're able to gain that power from, possibly being rude or doing, things that aren't necessarily good, and people stop using that particular Reddit subreddit, then they don't have that power anymore. If someone is doing these bad things to creators and people just stop following them totally, or tweet out, to their group, this site, don't buy promos on it, because right straight up, I went and I read, and again, you don't have to believe everything that I say. Feel free to go ahead and check out the blog, and it's going to list, and you can see it right there for yourself, and you can say, this is a fake account, and the only thing that this account does is retweet everything from Let's Discover Me. You think they'd throw out maybe one or two, other tweets, just to make it seem somewhat legit. But again, this is just being done for manipulative purposes. So, feel free to check that out, and, let people know that something is bad. If you see something's bad, if you see someone on Twitter or on Reddit or anywhere saying something, as far as misinformation to OnlyFans creators, providing something that doesn't seem legitimate, use your voice and tweet it out. If you have 1,000 followers, 100 people seeing that a promo is a ripoff, or seeing that someone's account is possibly misogynistic or rude or unfriendly to, OnlyFans creators, let it be known. I have definitely talked in previous podcasts about not getting into, scuffles on Twitter or social media wars. You don't have to get into a war. You just have to let people know, hey, this isn't acceptable, and then just let it go at that, and call out the particular person that's doing it. And I think that will help change the community. If the people who are doing bad things don't have oxygen, they can't breathe. So I think that's definitely a big point for this particular podcast episode. Okay, so let's get off that wonderfully serious topic, and go to the question of the week. As you guys might remember, we used to do the Sunday Secrets episode, where I would answer a lot of questions. And now at the very end of the episode, I'm going to answer one question. So a listener from Albuquerque, New Mexico asks, what is the difference between restricting and blocking a user on OnlyFans? Okay, so there's been a lot of debate in the community about, if someone is harassing or if someone's a problem, you just restrict them, and that way you can keep your monthly subscription. And so that's kind of one way of looking at it. But what happens is a lot of people don't realize that these people are still able to interact. You just aren't seeing them interact. So let's go over the difference between restricting and blocking. So when you restrict someone, and I'm going to use the term user, that would be the fan or the person who's possibly doing harassment, that the user will still have access to your page. They can still pay to subscribe to you, and they can still message you. You just won't see those messages. They will end up at the bottom, grayed out. If you really hunt for them, you still can see them. But again, they won't be like right out in front of you. So this is still someone who can interact with your account. Now, when you block someone, they have no access to your page anymore. They can't post or comment. And they get the subscription money back for the current month. So that means that if they just paid and you block them a day later, they're going to get their money back. And the reason they're going to get their money back is because each transaction of a credit card is a contract. So it's between as I've mentioned in previous podcasts, like 5 different parties are in this contract just to get this. Let's say you have a $5 subscription to OnlyFans. 5 different parties are all inside this transaction. So if you basically, block this person, then they no longer are in that contract, or you're not upholding that contract, which means OnlyFans isn't upholding the contract, which means the credit card processor isn't upholding the contract, which means they're going to get their money back. And that's why. It's not your fault that that's happened, but because that contract has been broken, they're going to get the subscription back for that time. Now, there's much to be said about restricting and blocking. It's definitely up to you as a creator what you feel most comfortable with. Especially if you have, a high price on your subscription. Is it worth just letting them, sit there and make comments and message into oblivion, hoping they'll give up? That's up to you. But definitely when you block someone, they lose all access to you. They no longer can interact. And, it's a bit of peace of mind for you as a creator. So I hope that was kind of cleared up your question as far as, what's the difference between the two. Okay, well, this has been a great episode. I've enjoyed it. And this was OnlyFans promo scam. Let's discover me. And as mentioned before, you can go on to seobounty.com/blog and find the blog post that I did about this in more detail. So you'll really be able to research and possibly identify them, especially if you do a lot of, work and time put in on Twitter. All right. So again, my name is Richard Lewis. I am the founder of OnlyFans Hero and the Learn OnlyFans Marketing 101 course on Udemy, as well as the president and owner of SEObounty.com, which is a fan site and OnlyFans marketing company. You can find this podcast on Instagram at OnlyFans Secrets Podcast. You can also find us on Reddit at r/OnlyFans Secrets. And we are, of course, on OnlyFans itself at onlyfans.com/OnlyFans Hero, where you can follow and subscribe for free to get the latest updates on this podcast. We're also on TikTok at OF Secrets Podcast, as well as always being on Twitter at OnlyFans Hero, where we run hourly free post promotions for OnlyFans creators, as well as now doing paid promotions for individual creators as well. And as I mentioned, we continue to grow. We reached 71,000 followers recently. We're now growing by 600-700 followers a day, both subscribers and and creators. So feel free to hop on there. Even if you can't do paid promotion, we still have hourly promotions where you can drop your links, your picks, and people, as I mentioned, retweet the heck out of those, and they end up with a huge amount of exposure, and even more than one might expect, because not everyone who sees them follows the account. There's a lot of lurkers out there in the social media realm, so they definitely see the posts, but they might not necessarily interact with them. And as always, you can reach out to me on Twitter at OnlyFansHero. If you have any questions about this podcast, have any questions about OnlyFans itself, questions you want included in the next episode, or you have questions about our paid promotion or about SEObounty.com as a company, reach out to me on Twitter at OnlyFansHero. And as always, if you have an opportunity to leave a review for this podcast, please do so, as it is super helpful and it helps other people find this podcast. And as always, I just really appreciate you listening to this podcast, consistently supporting it. It means so much to me. It really has given me a positive voice to be able to reach out to the OnlyFans community and make some of the changes that I just talked about, and some future changes that I wanted to see. All right, so thank you so much. Have a great day, and I will see you on the next OnlyFans Secrets podcast.